today. Thank you for joining me here on my YouTube channel. Please remember to subscribe and click the bell, and it will alert you every time a new class drops. Today's practice, 30 minutes. We don't always have an hour or 90 minutes to practice, so I really feel like 30 minutes is enough time to really make enough difference and make a shift. Today's focus is addressing the inside seam of our thighs, the groin, the hips, and our hamstrings. There's a pose that I don't often teach, and it's called frog pose. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but my body doesn't like frog pose. I find it really challenging, and I needed to practice what I preach. And I do say to my students in my classes that the poses that you don't love are normally the poses that the body needs the most. So this is a focus on that, on like focusing on the things that we don't like, knowing that they really are bringing more value to the practice. So shall we get started? We're actually going to start. It would be ideal if you've got a bolster or a pillow, a blanket or a towel. You don't need them, but go and grab them if you need them, and we'll get started. We're actually going to start in a one-legged frog pose, lying on our belly. So, just bringing yourself all the way down. Actually, just take a moment in shavasana first. Stack the hands underneath your forehead, feet as wide as the mat. And just take a moment, take 5 cycles of breath here. Just landing into the practice, feeling supported by the mat, and bringing the awareness of the breath into the practice. This is actually the most important part of the practice. Breathe deeply so you can feel your ribs and hips as you breathe down into the deepest parts of your belly. And then shift the breath down through the legs, out through the feet. One more cycle of breath here. Inhaling. And exhaling here. Bring the feet together to touch. Inhale. You can turn your head to the side and bring your right knee all the way up. And actually, when you look, you want to have your ankle directly under your knee and then flex the foot. Stack the hands and bring your forehead to the tops of the hands. So you've got a little pillow here. And take 5 cycles of breath. Inhaling down the spine. You can even turn your head to the right or to the left. Exhaling out through the legs, out through the feet. So we're just moving our breath, our prana through every cell of our bodies. Exhaling here. And just find the rhythm, 3 more cycles of breath. Last one here. Inhale, just place your forehead on the hands as you float your right leg back. Take a moment, wobble the hips, and inhaling, drawing the left knee all the way up. And again, have a look, make sure the knee is over the ankle, and then flex the foot. So flexing the foot activates the psoas, which is the deep muscle buried down under the hip. It's very hard to access this muscle. So by flexing the foot, it brings more awareness. And spread the toes of your right foot and then press down through the top of the right foot. Maybe turn your head to the left and just notice what is happening in your neck. 5 cycles of breath. One more cycle of breath here. Forehead down. Inhale, float the left leg back. Low cobra. Point the toes. Squeeze the elbows in. Press the elbow heads down. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, lower. Inhale, press up to cat pose, round. And then take a child's pose, exhaling here. This is from the Jiva Mukti practice. So listen carefully. Inhale, cat. Lower down, chin, chest, slide through low cobra. Inhale, lengthen the chest. Exhale, lower. Inhale, cat. Exhale, child's pose. 2 more. Inhale, cat. Lower down, find your rhythm. Inhale, lengthen forward, point the toes, lengthen the chest. Exhale, lower. Inhale, cat. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, cat. Last one. Lower down, chin, chest, slide through low cobra. Exhale, cat. Inhale here, tuck the toes, lift up and back, lengthen the hands forward, downward facing dog. Just pedal through the feet. Press your left heel down and then just open up. Keep the right foot flexed. These lovely big hip openers. And 2 more here. Keep pressing the left thigh back. And then pause and hold other way. Imagine there's a paintbrush on your knee and you're making these big sweeping circles. And then inhale, float the right leg straight back. And step the right foot outside the right hand. Pause here, drop the back knee down. Release the toes. Inhale, lengthen the chest. Exhaling here, 5 cycles of breath. So currently your right knee is hugging into your right upper arm. If you did want to intensify this, you're going to tuck the back toe under and fire up the back thigh. It's the same pose, but by tucking the toe and lifting the back knee, there's more intensity there. 2 more cycles of breath. Lengthen the chest forward. And then dissolve the wrinkles in the back of the neck by just looking slightly forward and down. 1 more cycle of breath. If you need to, you could have your hands on blocks or books or something to give you a little bit more height if your hamstrings are tight and it's hard to get the hands to the floor. Now, walk your right foot all the way to the edge and turn the right foot out like you did in one-legged frog pose. I'm stepping my left hand off the mat and bringing my right hand to the inside seam, inhaling here. And you can just play with dropping the head back, exhaling here. Pressing down through the toes of the back foot, inhale. Exhaling here. 2 more cycles of breath. Some of you will stay here for another 5 cycles. Some of you will feel ready to put a bend into the back knee and catch the back foot. You could have a strap if it's hard to catch, or just lift the knee. So this is all an option. Roll the shoulder down, 5 cycles of breath. Drop the head back to Open your heart, inhaling here, exhaling here. And there's a lot of information between my foot and my hand. I'm kicking the foot into the hand, but pressing the hand into the foot. One more cycle of breath. Release the back foot, hand either side. Just be careful of your knees. If you need to, you could bring a blanket under the knee. Inhaling, floating the right leg straight up and back. Put a bend into the knee and open up the hip. Place the right foot down. Inhale, glide forward into plank pose. Pause here. You could drop the knees to the floor if this felt too much, especially if you've got lower back stuff or you're trying to build more strength. Shift the shoulders beyond the wrists, lower halfway down, and pause. Strong, lengthen, strengthen, roll over toes, press through the feet as you inhale, lift the chest. I'm staying on the tops of the toes as I lift up and back. Ooh, a nice little clicking through my toes as I roll over. Exhale, downward facing dog. You stay where you are. I'm just going to spin around so that you can see the other side. Inhaling here. Exhale, press the thighs back, feet at hips distance. Inhaling, pressing the right heel down, lift the left, and then flex the foot. And 5 big sweeping circles. Pausing at the top, and then unwind it. Keep the integrity in your right thigh, right heel pressing down. And inhale, float the leg back. Step the left foot on the outside of your left hand, back knee to the ground. Release the back toes. Inhale, lengthen. So you could have blocks underneath your hand. Hug the knee into the shoulder. Inhale, lengthen the chest. 5 cycles of breath. So find the awareness. I'm always looking to create space in my body. Length, space. Tuck the back toe under. Some of you did this on the first side. That's it. Press down through the palms and watch my front ribs hug into my back ribs. It feels like I'm pressing my shoulder blades apart as I breathe in. Exhaling here. 2 more cycles of breath. Inhaling here. Place the back knee down. Turn the back toe. Release the back toes. Turn your left foot to the left. I'm stepping my right hand off the mat and then pressing my left hand to the inside of the thighs. So not on the knee, no pressure on the knee, but press, roll the shoulders down, drop the head back. If there's pain in your neck, you could just look down to the grounded hand. You'll find a sweet spot. A lot of us have got sensitive necks, so dropping the head back doesn't feel good. So only do what feels available today. Dropping the head back, your thyroid gland is in your neck. And this action of dropping the head back activates the thyroid gland. So if you've got an overactive or an underactive thyroid gland, these actions of dropping the head back are really beneficial. Some of you are staying here. Some of you with a little bit more awareness and flexibility are going to be able to, and putting a blanket under this back knee is a really nice idea. Catch the foot. You could use a strap here. And again, roll the shoulder down. And if it feels too much, just keep the back knee down and stay for 5 more cycles of breath. And release the back foot. Both hands onto the mat, hips distance, tuck the back toes. Inhale, float the left leg straight back. Put a bend into the knee, open up the hip. More awareness into the right thigh. Circle the top ankle. Inhale, both feet to the floor. Glide forward into plank pose. Exhale, lower halfway down. Ardha Chaturanga. Inhale, lift up and back. Downward facing dog. 3 cycles of breath here, yogis. And you can lift up out of your wrists by coming into cupcake fingers. Look at your feet, make sure they're hips distance. And inhale, set the feet together, grip through the fingertips, lift the heels. Exhale, look forward, and a little jump to the top. Half lift, inhale, forward fold and bow. So just wrapping your forearms, can you see here, coming back through the calf muscles, opposite hand to opposite shin. Stay here, hug the ribs in, forward fold and bow, and I'm looking up between my thighs. Lift your kneecaps into your thighs so you're activating the muscles, and hinge forward. 2 more cycles of breath, just lengthening the hamstrings here. The crown of the head is releasing the chest down over the thighs. Change the other hand so the other hand is on top. Inhale, lift the chest, forward fold and bow. 5 cycles of breath. And one more here. Unravel the spine. Inhaling, lifting yourself all the way up. Roll the shoulders down. Exhaling here. Turn your feet out, so to the edges of the mat. Hands at prayer. Inhale, bend the knees. Exhale here. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Last one. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift up. Parallel the feet. Standing on your left foot. This is a variation of tree pose, but we're going to flex the lifted foot, turn the foot out. So standing on the left foot, draw the right knee into the chest. Try not to use your hands today. The hands and the legs are external levers, and our internal levers are the muscles and the abdominals on the inside. Now turn your foot to the left, to the right, and take your knee out to the right. Stay here, 5 cycles of breath. Hugging your left hip in. And inhale, right arm up. Grab your ankle, inhale, lift. Shavasana, exhale, tree pose. Some of us are going to stay in tree pose. Some of us with a bit more hamstring mobility are going to Hook the peace fingers in the toes and then lengthen. 5 cycles of breath. Grow tall through the spine. Inhaling here, crossing the right ankle over the left thigh. One-legged chair pose. Exhaling here. Flex your right foot, press the right knee down and away from the right hip. Hug the ribs in like cat. Pull the chest through the gateway of the shoulders. 2 more cycles of breath. Lengthen through the back of the neck. Inhale, stand all the way up. Exhale, release. Stay where you are, other side. Spread the toes of your right foot, press down. Lift your left heel. Inhale, lift the left knee up. Turn the foot to the left. Inhale, open wide. Exhale here. So my body is facing straight ahead. This lovely external rotation. And remember to flex the foot out to the left. 2 more cycles of breath. This pose could feel very different standing on the opposite leg. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, grab the ankle. Inhale, lift. Press the heel to the inside thigh. Some of you are coming to Friksasana tree pose. Others with a bit more hamstring mobility are hooking the toes and lengthening here. Inhale, grow nice and tall. Exhaling here. I'm feeling a little bit more vulnerable standing on my right foot. My right hip is not as strong as my left. Inhale here, crossing the left ankle over the right thigh. Inhale, flex your left foot, bend the knee, drop your sit bones down, hugging the ribs in, pulling the chest forward, pressing the left knee down and away from my left hip. 2 more cycles of breath here, yogis. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale here. Both arms up, breathe in. Forward fold and bow, exhale. Half lift, inhale, Adha. Bend the knees, plant the hands, float back. Roll over, toes up dog. Up and back. Downward facing dog. Drop the knees to the floor. Okay, so this is where a blanket and a bolster comes in handy. It could be a pillow and a towel, just whatever you've got. Okay, so I'm gonna bring the blanket to support my knee. Again, you might not feel that you need it, but in frog pose, there's a lot of pressure, especially it's because I never practice this pose, so it feels like a lot in my body. So really the practice is to pay attention to notice how these poses feel, what comes up, and notice if it's resistance and you're bumping into yourself emotionally and these nuances and just stuff. It seems to want to surface. So we're going to come down onto the hands, tabletop position, take your, I'm going to mirror you, so I'm going to I'm mirroring you. So take your right knee out to the side on the blanket, and then look, make sure the ankle is underneath your knee, and then flex the right foot. I should have done this first. Okay, I'm here. Now I'm bringing my foot onto the blanket or the pillow, and now I'm here, and I'm going to come down into my forearms. Keep and have a look, make sure you can see your toes of your right foot. This is a lot in my body. Inhaling here. Exhaling here. Press down through the forearms, the elbows, to hug your ribs, your front ribs into your back ribs. Lengthen through the back of the neck, both sides, rolling the shoulders down and away from the ears. One more cycle of breath. And inhale, come back up onto the hands. Bring your bolster or your pillow in. And then we change sides. So bring my blanket to the left side, my bolster to the right. How did that feel? Let me know in the comments below. So again, step the left knee out, have a look. Heel under the ankle, turn and rotate the foot out. Pause here. Cat pose. Get my foot onto the bolster. Some of us are going to be upright. This already feels like I could stay here, but I'm just going to come down to get a little deeper. That's it. And there is a lot going on the inside seam of my thighs, my groin. I'm just having this padding under my knee, just softens it there. So sometimes it's a lot going on in the knee, so you kind of takes you out of actually where you're meant to be feeling it. So just breathe in through the crown of the head, down the spine, and exhale into the bowl of the pelvis. 5 more cycles of breath. And inhale, come up onto the hands, slide your right foot in, and step the knees together. Take a few rounds of cat-cow. Inhale, heart lengthens. Exhale, inhale, heart lengthens. Exhale. Good. So now we're going to come into the full expression. Actually, ideally, what I forgot to tell you is maybe it's good to have 2 towels or 2 blankets. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to double my mat over. So I've got a bit more padding here. I actually might do that a couple of times. So I've got a little bit more padding. Okay, so here we are. And actually you could take this bolster or your pillow or any props if you need them. Take the left knee out and then the right. Some people can actually get all the way down here, not in my body. And again, check your ankles are underneath your knees. Turn your feet out. Inhaling here, you could even slide this bolster back to the pubic bone and come down. Inhale, lengthen. Exhaling here. So this is option 1 if you're fortunate enough to have a bolster at home. That's beautiful. Option 2, you might want the bolster underneath the forearms. Option 3, inhaling here, exhaling here. And you just keep sliding the knees out any amount, turn the feet out. Let's stay for 10 cycles of breath. More. Just bring the awareness, close your eyes. Notice how this pose feels from the inside. Don't worry about what it looks like. Soft whisper in the back of the throat. One more cycle of breath. pull, slide your, I'm going to bring the big toes in towards each other. Good, and then just take a child's pose and release. Inhale, come up through tabletop position. Just roll yourself down. Take the feet as wide as the mat. Lower yourself down. Walk your feet back and now let your knees drop in. This actually feels really lovely through the inside seam of my hips and my groin. I'm walking the shoulder blades into the spine. Inhaling here. Exhaling here. Some of you, this actually might feel better taking shavasana like this. This is a really nice way to take shavasana, especially if you have lower back stuff going on. So this is nice. And actually maybe just windshield wiper the legs side to side for a moment. This feels like a nice release. And when you're ready, come back through center, and then you just decide. Do you want to lengthen the legs, lengthen the tailbone down towards your heels, subtle lift in the chest, your palms are facing up. Take a deep, long drink of breath in. Open the mouth, sigh it out. Shavasana. And you can feel the residue of the work that you've just done. And just take a moment to honor yourself for showing up, for doing the work. Just receive your practice. If you'd like to take longer in shavasana here, just turn the computer off and just give yourself permission to pause. Others are going to draw the knees into the chest, squeeze it all in, and then rolling to the side. And bringing yourself up. Thank you for sharing your practice with me. Namaste. Beautiful work, yogis. Hope to see you here again soon. Leave me some feedback. Don't forget to subscribe. See you again.